Sometimes love doesn't end with anger. Sometimes it fades quietly, almost politely, until one day you realize it has already left the room. They were sitting together, close enough to touch, yet far enough to feel alone. The television was on, but neither of them was listening. The sound filled the space between them, trying to hide the silence that had been growing for months. She looked at the wall and wondered when things had changed. Not because of a fight, not because of betrayal, but because something important had slowly stopped breathing. Love rarely dies loudly. It disappears in small moments people choose not to notice. He sat beside her, aware of the distance, but unsure how to cross it. He wanted to speak, yet every word felt dangerous. Some conversations don't start because both people already know where they might end. There was a time when being together felt easy, when silence was comfortable, not heavy, when they talked for hours about dreams, plans, and a future that felt close enough to touch. Love back then didn't require effort. It simply existed, like air. They used to believe love was something you find once and keep forever. They didn't know it was something you have to choose again and again, especially when it becomes inconvenient. Life didn't take love away all at once. It removed it gently. A little attention here, a little patience there, until one day, what remained felt familiar, but empty. He became busy. She began to speak less, not because she had nothing to say, but because she was tired of repeating herself. When someone stops explaining their pain, it doesn't mean it's gone. It means they've learned it won't be understood. He noticed she was quieter. He assumed she was fine. People often confuse silence with peace. She didn't need perfection. She didn't want grand gestures. She just wanted to feel seen again. To feel like her presence mattered in a way that couldn't be replaced by routine. One evening, she finally spoke. Her voice was calm, but worn down by waiting. "I don't feel lonely when I'm alone," she said. "I feel lonely when I'm with you." The sentence stayed in the air longer than either of them expected. He felt it settle deep inside him. He had felt the same thing before, in quiet moments he refused to name. Guilt is strange. It doesn't always push people to change. Sometimes it freezes them, convincing them that trying now might only make things worse. They promised to try, and for a while, they did. They went out together. They laughed sometimes. They remembered how things used to be. Memory can feel like love if you're not careful, but love that survives only on memory is already tired. She felt like she was always explaining herself, translating her emotions into simpler words, hoping one day he would hear what she meant instead of what she said. He felt like he was always falling short, no matter how hard he tried, no matter how much he stayed. Neither of them was wrong. Neither of them was right. At night, lying next to each other, they stared at the same ceiling, thinking different thoughts. They shared a bed, but not a future. The question they avoided grew louder in the silence. Are we still in love? Or are we just afraid of losing? One night, they sat facing each other with nothing left to avoid. No phones, no distractions, just the truth waiting to be spoken. I'm not angry, she said. I'm just tired. Her honesty hurt more than anger ever could. He nodded, his voice barely steady. I don't want to lose you, but I don't know how to be what you need anymore. They didn't rush to fill the silence. Some moments deserve to breathe. Sometimes love is not enough, she said, and that sentence didn't end their relationship. It explained it. They realized staying would slowly turn love into resentment. They would begin blaming each other for becoming who they never meant to be. Leaving would hurt, but it would protect the respect that still existed between them. The goodbye was quiet. No dramatic promises. No accusations. Just two people acknowledging that they had reached the end of something real. After the separation, everything felt unfamiliar. The rooms felt larger. The nights felt longer. Even the quiet felt different. Every object carried a memory. A cup, a chair, a song that appeared unexpectedly and stayed too long. They didn't just miss each other. They missed the versions of themselves that only existed when they were together. People rarely mourn relationships. They mourn who they were inside them. Healing didn't follow a straight line. Some days felt almost normal. Others felt heavy with memories that arrived uninvited. Progress was slow, but honest. Time passed, not because it heals everything, but because it teaches people how to live with what remains. One day, by chance, they met again. No tension, no regret. Just familiarity softened by distance. I'm doing better now, she said. So am I, he replied. And this time, they were both telling the truth. Not every breakup is a failure. Not every ending is a loss. Some people enter our lives to teach us how deeply we can feel, not how long we can stay. Sometimes love doesn't disappear. It changes form. And sometimes letting go is not the end of love. It is the final, most honest version of it.